You know what I like? I like when it rains on a Tuesday night, because that means it's Worm Wednesday. That's right, Worm Wednesday. Rains all night Tuesday. You wake up on Wednesday, go outside, there's like 1,000 worms all over the place. I got a 15-minute walk to class. I'm dodging worms left and right. I got to do like a little dance just to dodge a worm. Oh, there's a worm. Hey, there's a worm. Whoa, that's a worm. There's just a stick that looks like a worm. So I step on that stick. So I'm not trying to dance all the way to class. I'm not going to a dance class. I'm just trying to go to normal class, but there's all these worms in my way. But I love Worm Wednesday. I love it because you get to see all types of worms that are out there. There's long worms, there's short worms, and those are about the 2 types of worms. Actually, it's more like there's long worms and there's longer worms. Because worms are so long, they should make a team called the Pennsylvania Long Worms. Can you imagine a long worms game? You're sitting in the bleachers eating gummy worms, you got your foam worm finger, and you're going, go worms, go worms, go worms. I think we need to focus on food more, you know? Food, it's important. I love food, snacks. I love snacks so much. I like to change the name of streets to treats by moving the S. Okay, just go down South Allen Street. What's happening on Fraser Street? Pew Street. Is that how you say Pew Street? Yeah, come on in here. You're good. Get on in here. Yeah, we got it. That's all right. We're filling up. Pew Street. I like to change the GH to a CH. Pooch Street. Pooch's Street. That's like a Scooby snack. I love snacks, man. Cocoa Krispies. I changed the mascots' names to Snack, Snackle, and Pop. You gotta keep the pop.
Just to give you like a background, is that my sports background. I was a lacrosse goalie in high school. What sport were you watching? I was a goalie because I'm lazy and I'm bad. You know what I mean? Like, that's what a goalie is. Like, and they praise you whether you do good or you do bad. Do well. I'm sorry about that. Whether you do well. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they will praise you. Like, they don't want to be goalie. No one else wants to be goalie. So you're their only option. Like, that's it. Like, they will tell you anything after a game so you don't quit. Like, they worship you at your feet. You want to know what it's like to be a god? Be a goalie for a day. That's what it's like. I didn't save anything. I would move out of the way. Like, shots would come, I was like, not today. I don't need those bruises. I don't want it. And they were like, so good. But I was like, they know, I'm amazing. So I'm in my lab, right? And like, we're talking about like our life's journeys, right? Like, one kid's like, I want to be a DJ. I'm like, good luck. But like, and then this other girl, she's like, a classic sorority girl, right? Like Tumblr philosophy. She's like, I want to be an African child. I was worried about the DJ. You changed the game. Shit's about to get real up in here. I'm like, oh, let's listen to this, right? Let's tune in a little closer. She's like, I want to be an African child because they know their life's purpose. They wake up, they go to the local river, they get a bucket of water, and they bring it back to their tribe. Okay. So, recap, her idea of Africa is like people riding giraffes, and like everyone speaks in cliques, right? Like that's her idea of Africa, and like she's like, every time I see an African child in a photo, they look so happy. What photos? Did you learn about Africa through your friend's Facebook photos of a service trip she did? Like, what? Not National Geographic, I'll tell you that. I was like, what? This is not... Like, imagine her going into, like, Nairobi and, like, realizing that it's, like, a civilized city. Right? Like, she's like, where's Simba? Like, where's the Lion King? My friends cry. Where are the dying children? I want to know my purpose! Thank you.
So
So the other day I heard Chris Brown got arrested for holding a gun to a woman's head, and the only thing I could think was, how many times does this man have to be arrested for something completely avoidable until we, as a society, recognize that jail is just where he wants to be? Actually, my favorite radio station just dropped an online poll that said, is this Chris Brown's fault or not? And I'm like, okay, this won't work, and here's why. Chris Brown is in a group with 3 people. It's him, O.J. Simpson, and Pee Wee Herman. No matter what happens, he's guilty. You ever realized you were a really, really fucked up kid? Like, when I was 8, I took one of those disposable Kodak cameras, and I went into my bathroom, and I just took a lot of naked pictures of myself. And then I took the camera, and I hid it in the mall. I don't know why I did it. Over the summer, my grandmother stayed with me, God rest her soul, please. My grandmother stayed with me, and I really didn't want her to, and she said, you know what, Elijah, I'm staying with you whether you want me to or not. So I had to take action. I immediately went to Bed Bath & Beyond and got the biggest steak knife I could find. And then I went to Party City and got a Darth Vader mask. And at 4:30 in the morning, I just went into her room and went... And she woke up and said, you know what, Karen? Last night, Darth Vader was trying to stab me. And I did that 3 more times, and she was in a home.
Do we have any freshman girls in the audience with us today? Literally none of you, not a single one. You, wonderful, congrats. You're the most desirable person in this room. My little sister's a freshman right now, and I was a freshman once too. And it just takes me back to the days of self-discovery, and liberating youth. It's like hashtag fun, hashtag girls, hashtag fun, hashtag I'm willing to be stripped of my clothes and identity if that means I might possibly belong. Okay, so I know I'm up here as a woman, and I know what you guys expect. And that's me to talk about sex, blowjobs, something like that. Can't because I suck. Sorry, not tonight. But really, you guys want to talk about sex? Okay, we'll talk about fruit fly reproduction. When I was little, what I would do, because I'm a hypochondriac, is before bed, when my parents would tuck me in, I would say, good night, Mom and Dad, I'll see you tomorrow morning for breakfast. And what I'd do is I'd look up at the sky and add a lot of details and be super specific. So I'd say, tomorrow morning, 7:30, breakfast, eggs and toast, because God respects those sort of arrangements. I couldn't die in my sleep if I had breakfast. The early death thing, though, doesn't really scare me regarding hypochondria. It's not the early death part. It's my parents going through my computer documents post-mortem, looking to find something worth publishing, because I'm a writer. I know they expect Anne Frank. The best I can offer is like a Jimmy B. Jones who smoked a lot of weed.
Men aren't men anymore. You know what I'm talking about? What happened to men? This is because we don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Like, everyone knows that you're not a man unless you're slowly trying to kill yourself. Like cigarettes, whiskey, and bacon for every meal. That's what it was like back then. But out of all the men, they died. All stepdads are Second Amendment guys. I found out something about myself recently. I realized that I'm autosexual, which means that I'm just attracted to myself. I mean, like, you know that Frankie Valli song, like, I'm too good to be true, can't keep my eyes off of me? That's not a version. Like, they say, like, before you can love someone else, you have to learn how to love yourself first. And, like, I did the first part, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I go outside and I look at any person, I'm like, yeah, I don't need that. I mean, like, it's not all good times. I mean, sometimes, like, I wake up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror, and I go, I hate you, but I can't quit you. Because I believe that love is every emotion at once, or, you know, something stupid like that. I can't lie to you guys. Love has nothing to do with it. It's strictly sexual. 100% sexual. There's no love about it. I remember the first time I masturbated. It was like the first time Tiger Woods hit a golf ball. Like, when you know, you know. I don't get why Christians, like, use the cross. Like, they put it in, like, every Christian, like, has a cross in their kitchen. Like, I don't get that, because, like, when Jesus comes back, I feel like he's not going to be too happy about that. He's like, yeah. Thanks for the reminder, a-holes. First you put me in this kangaroo court, you nail me to a piece of wood, and then you have the audacity to just put up reminders everywhere while I'm gone, just waiting for this big laugh when I get back. Very funny, guys. Ungrateful sons of bitches. Save your sins. You ever had sex with someone just so they'd leave your apartment?
I actually found out recently that there's a school in Washington State that, like, they started teaching in kindergarten gender identities, which is really cool. But then I'm like, how are they going to teach sex ed at that school, you know? Because, like, in my school, it was like the birds and the bees, you know? The birds and the bees, that's what they taught me. Like, what's it going to be at this school? Like, the birds who are bees, but they're trapped inside of a bird's body, but they're still attracted to bees, you know? Or, like, the birds and the birds, you know? I don't know. It's just, like, what kind of fucked up world do we live in that we teach our kids that birds mate with other birds? My roommate is vegan right now, and he always, like, tries to convert me. Like, he and his girlfriend are vegan, and they always try and convert me into veganism. And they're like, if you had to kill your own food, you would be vegan. And I'm like, yeah, but only because I'm really lazy. Like, if I also had to grow and pick my own vegetables, I would just die. Like, I'm not trying to put that much effort into living. And they always say the same thing, too. They're always like, yeah, but you know what? If you do research, gorillas have the same teeth structure as us, and they only eat vegetation. I'm like, yeah, but they're also fucking gorillas. Like, when have you ever taken advice from a gorilla? I've never had a friend who's, like, in need of a therapist, and I'm like, you know what, dude, I got a great guy at the Philadelphia Zoo. He's like, his name is George. Does he, like, volunteer there? Yeah, he definitely doesn't get paid. He's a gorilla. But he is a great listener. My dad and I have a weird relationship because he's really disappointed in all of my major life decisions. So he feels really guilty about that. So it comes up in really weird ways. Like, if I start talking about stand-up comedy in our house, he leaves the room and acts like he didn't hear me. But then when I find the sunflower seeds in the grocery store, he hugs me and tells me he loves me. Like, it's not that hard, Dad. It's in the nut aisle. I don't know. I guess I'll close on, I think this is sort of a relatable story. It happened a little while ago. I was having sex, and so, like, I was having sex with a girl, and afterwards, I pulled out, and my penis was, like, in the shape of a corkscrew, which, by the way, is not how it went in. And I looked at her, and I was like, are you a duck? Are you a fucking duck? And she was like, no, I'm not a duck. And I was like, so you're telling me you don't have a corkscrewing duck vagina? That's what you're telling me? Look at my penis. I could open up a bottle of wine with my penis. which wasn't a comment about the size, it was just a comment about the twistedness. It was a heat of the moment decision on that analogy. And she was like, no, I don't have a corkscrewing duck vagina. And I'm like, look me in the eyes and tell me you don't have a corkscrewing duck vagina. And she was like, I don't have a corkscrewing duck vagina. And I wasn't convinced, so I was like, oh yeah, you don't? So then I went and got a loaf of bread from my cabinet, brought it back, and she was like, no. I'm like, yeah. And I ripped off a piece and threw it at her. I was throwing pieces, and then she started eating the bread. And I was like, you know what? I fucking knew. I knew you were a fucking mallard from the moment I saw you. From the moment you were playing in that fucking pond, I was like, you're a mallard. You're a mallard, Gina. And then, like, I went to my closet to get a broom to, like, swat it at her to, like, make her leave. And, like, I came back and she was opening up the window, and she was, like, about to fly out, and she was like, whatever, I already got what I wanted. She flew away. Took a piece of my heart with her. And a piece of my check, because I'm paying child support for a duck now. So dumb. I wrote that joke because somebody told me that ducks are only conceived through rape. And I was like, you know what, I want to write a joke where a duck is conceived in a consensual manner. and I was like, how can I possibly do that? I'm like, the only person I really can trust is myself. I'll just fuck a duck in this.
But yeah, I smoke too much weed. It's just, I'm like the friend in the friend group that like smokes out all of his friends. Like my friends will come to me for like weed. They'll just be like, oh, well, I mean, I don't smoke weed. I mean, I smoke weed at Nick's house every day, but I don't buy weed. So, you know, like, my mom won't be mad at me. Basically, it's just, it's so easy, it's so predictable when people just want to like hang out with me just to smoke my weed. Oh my gosh, shit happens all the time. Somebody will text me and be like, oh hey, I like haven't seen you in like 5 years, but I feel like we should totally catch up. You know, we can hang out and just chill out and just hang. Just like hang out and shoot the shit, you know. I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a long time. Wow, that sounds pretty good. Do you have bud or what? You got bud or what? I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. All right, cool, I'll be over in 15 minutes. All right, cool. Then they get to my place, right? They come and sit down. Oh, hey man, what's going on? Yeah, living the dream. Just won't make eye contact with me at all. I'm just like, just waiting around for something to happen. Yeah, just hanging out, yeah, been good. Yeah. I'm just standing right next to him, just like looking into his eyes. Just like, I fucking know what you're up to, man. I'll smoke you out, but you just gotta look into my eyes first. So finally, I'm like, okay, like, do you wanna smoke? And then every single time this happens, it's the same exact reaction every single time. They'll just go, huh, oh, I didn't even think about, oh. Well, I mean, like, are you gonna smoke? Oh, I mean, I don't want to be rude. Well, I didn't even think about smoking weed today, but, I mean, if you're offering it to me, I mean, maybe I didn't think about it, but maybe I will. I mean, I'd smoke some weed. Dude, you literally texted me asking me if I had weed earlier. Oh my God. But he'll be like, oh, man, okay, yeah, is this, oh, thanks so much. Oh, this is really cool. Alright, cool, man. Thanks so much. Listen, I gotta go. I have some stuff. I need to feed my dad. Wait, feed my cat. Feed my dog's cat. Feed my dad's cat. My dog's dad has to feed my mom's cat. Or is it the other way around? My mom's cat has to eat my dad's cat. My dog's cat is eating my...
What's up, everybody? Hey! Alright, I just want to do a quick warm-up exercise before I get started, okay, all right, so it's a clapping exercise, so bear with me, but here we go, all right. I need you to clap as loud as you can, either if you are currently on Penn State's campus, or if you'd be willing to sign a legal document after the show that says you know where I was at 4:40 p.m. on September 13th. All right, go. Everybody clapped. I'm going to need you to sign some things after the show. Okay. I don't understand when people give the advice, picture them in your underwear, to public speakers, because in that scenario, you were the only one in the room who was fully clothed. You know what I mean? At some point you missed a memo, and now you're speaking in front of a declothed audience. It wouldn't work out. Speaking of bad public speakers, I'm an engineering major. So, over the summer I took a material science course, and I had to read an article in it. And it was talking about how jet engines are designed to ingest 5.5 pounds of birds. 5.5 pounds of birds. How do you test something like that? Just some guy, the lead engineer is like, yeah, so I went to Petco the other day, and I picked up 5.55 pounds of canaries, and I was just chucking those suckers in that engine. Well, I got to 5.5 pounds, and it was doing pretty well, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to throw this last little guy in there. Well, exploded on contact. It was a huge mess, canary blood everywhere. Oh, it was bad. And what do you do in the air? Is there like a sensor, like a bird poundage sensor? Like the pilot comes on, he's like, hey, listen, passengers, I'm going to have to bring this plane down. Looks like our bird sensors just ticked over to 5.5 pounds in each engine. Well, we stay up here any hour longer, our goose is going to be cooked. And, we got to get out of these migratory paths soon, because right now we're just sitting ducks. And I like a good thrill as much as the next guy, but I just don't want to get into a game of chicken with these foul creatures. I don't think people are using the phrase "and scene" well enough. I get like using it for bits and stuff. People are like characters, they're like, oh, and scene. But I think people should be using it to get out of sticky situations. Okay? Here, let me explain. Okay, say your friend comes up to you, right, and he just got a haircut. And he's like, yo, home slice, check out my sweet do, as all our friends say all the time. But it's bad, so your initial reaction is like, and then you're like, oh no, dude, that was like a good face. I was like, oh, good, I never even said it was bad. No, I just said it was bad. I'm saying I never said it was bad. Dude, no, I swear to God, it's good, okay? I didn't even notice the patch missing in the back. Okay, there isn't a patch missing in the back. I didn't mean to say that. Listen, okay, it would look good under a hat. That came out wrong. Okay, let me just try to explain and scene. See, it was all a character. None of it was real. I'm not terrible. That haircut is. Yeah, scene. Okay, now we're back to the starting point. I had someone lie to me recently, I think, because or maybe it was the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know, because the dentist told me I did a good job flossing. So I don't really know what to make of that. You know what I mean? Nobody, maybe she had some sort of ulterior motive. She was definitely trying to get something out of me, because that is not true at all. I don't know if she's after my fortune of over $1,000, ladies, or if she was trying to get me to get into some Ponzi scheme, like, hey, good job flossing. Now, would you join my investor program? You pay, and then you get two friends to pay you, and then so on and so on. And we all make money. But she made one fatal mistake. Oh, she made one fatal mistake, because I haven't flossed in years. Okay, so that cannot be true. And you want to know how I made my fortune? Selling my teeth from after my rampant gingivitis, okay? I really hope my teeth don't fall out when I get older. I also really hope I don't become one of those people who's like, oh, the one that got away, Because I think that suggests that I kidnapped someone and then they escaped, you know what I mean? And I think, too, that it suggests that every single other person is still locked in my basement. And I don't want to be that guy, you know what I mean? And scene. All right, thank you. Yeah.